Page 80, Give My Regards to Broadway. A very famous melody, a lot of fun to play. It's a nice arrangement. At the top of the page, they're giving you the review. I do this on every video. What's the key signature and what's it mean and all that. But they're saying new. I don't know what's new here. I'm a little confused. Unless they're using the term accidental. Maybe that's what's new. Because you've been using accidentals ever since you've been using black keys in here. I mean, they haven't used key signatures until recently because instead they used accidentals. But they're called accidentals. Okay, fine, we can talk about that. There are different symbols for accidentals. Okay. The three most common, the three that we've used, is the sharp, the flat, and the natural sign. Have we had natural signs? I guess we have. They act like we have, so okay. And the idea with them being accidentals is that they're just temporary. They're not accidents. They're just temporary. They're good from the point where they're entered in the measure for the rest of the measure in that staff. That's it. They're temporary. Didn't used to be that way. Hundreds of years ago, it was different because music has evolved. I mean, there was a time when we didn't have measures in music. It was all run together. And an accidental was relative. Today, they're absolute. And relative means you go up or down from where you are, wherever that is. So it's like, let's pretend I have a G. And then in the music, they would want a G sharp. They'd put a sharp in front of the G. Well, that would be good for the rest of the piece. If later on they wanted another G, they wanted to sharp the G again, they would just give it another sharp and it would go up from where it is. So from here you go up again, you sharp it again. And flat's the same way going down. And then it's evolved and we got measures in there, and back in the 1700s or so it sort of evolved into where they became absolute. In other words, a sharp went up a half step from the written note, period. And if you wanted to sharp it again, you'd have to give it what's known as a double sharp. That's another type of accidental that's not used all that much. You get double sharps and double flats. Don't worry about them. Point is, the sharp, the flat, and the natural are the three most common, and those are the ones we're using. And accidentals because they're temporary. If you look in the music, you'll see in the first measure they give you a sharp in parentheses. That's known as a courtesy sign. You see in the key of G major, which this is, all the F's are sharped anyway. So that F in the first measure is already an F sharp. They don't need the natural sign or the sharp sign. And that's why it's in parentheses. They're telling you, be sure and play an F sharp here. Hint, hint, hint. That's just a courtesy sign. It doesn't need to be there. But in the third measure, you have an E flat there. That's an accidental because there's no flat in the key signature. Yeah. And it's only good for that measure. So when we get to the next measure, that goes away. So in measure 5, when you get those E's again, those are E naturals there. Now, let's talk this Broadway thing here. It's 2 pages long, sort of. 2 short pages long. Treble and bass clef, 1 sharp in the key signature. We're in the key of G major. Make sure you're doing the G major scale, and you should be doing it 2 octaves if you can do the scale. If you can't do the scale, stick to 1 octave. Learn the scale first. Get a feeling of going over the thumb and crossing the thumb and whatever. Get a feeling of that first, and then once you can do the scale, sort of pretty well, then you can go to 2 octaves, but don't rush it. Ugh. Anyway, back to this thing. 4/4 time signature. We got quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. Alrighty. I don't see any dotted rhythms anywhere, except maybe the dotted half notes, which we've had forever. So okay. Let's take it one hand at a time and make sure we understand what each hand is doing first. So in the right hand, you're starting thumb on D. I think I gave you the answer to the question. And so the position is here. See, the F sharp is part of the position because it's in the key signature. And at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now it's an E flat. Just bring the little index down. 3, 4. Sounds great, don't it? And you're going to here. All right, going on. Measure 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And that's tied forever, or until measure 9, whichever comes first. Okay, let's go over to measure 21 on page 81. We're here. And then for measure 25, just reach up here. Just go up one key, and it's here. And then you clasp. We changed hand positions. 1, G sharp now, and because the third finger's on G, I'm going to use it on G sharp. You don't need these finger numbers. You needed the 5 at the beginning of that at measure 25. You don't need these other finger numbers. Please don't be reading finger numbers. Second finger, and the measure 28, that G on the last note, that's a G natural, because that sharp in measure 27 is only good for that measure. So it's here. And then measure 30, it's a thumb. Again, we're taking advantage of repeated notes to change hand positions. And then reach up to the octave, up here and to here. There. So much for the right hand. What's the left hand doing? Well, you got 2 and 4 on a G and a B, so you're starting here. So, and that's tied forever until the third measure, and then that's tied. Well, you're not doing much here, are you? Measure 7 half notes. A sharp. You're doing that some more. Okay. Measure 13. They want 1 and 3 on the A at C sharp. Now put your hand up here. If you don't want to be up here, and I don't, then I'm going to change the hand position so I don't have to put the thumb on that. Because it's the thumb that's making me go up here, and here. So a couple possibilities. I have rests before it. I got time. If I want to move the hand, I can move it. So I could come up here and do a 2-4 here and be in this position. And I think that's what I'm going to do. 2-4. So it's, and then going on, you get rests again, and this gives you time to move back down. So you can put thumb on C natural. And it is a C natural because the sharp in measure 13 is only good for that one note. But there's an exception, and this is an example of the exception. Remember, the accidentals are only good from that point on for the rest of the measure? Well, here is an example of where it goes on past the measure. It goes on into the next measure. So the C sharp in measure 13 is good for measure 14 also. It's still a C sharp. And the reason for that is because it's a tied note. And as long as it's a tied note, you played it, you're holding it down, you stick with it. You don't change it just because you cross the bar line. So on measure 13, the A and the C sharp, you hold that down for 8 counts. So that accidental does apply to both measures in that case. But in the next measure, because you have a rest, it's not tied anymore. Now it's a C natural. Now you're back down here. That's an important, it confuses some people. So tied notes, just hang on to them. Don't change them because you cross a bar line. Let's put the hands together and see what happens. You're here, and your left hand, you're just holding this down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Never mind what it sounds like, just go with it. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, going from measure 4 to 5. Here, going to here. I want to connect the right hand. I want to connect that. I can't connect the left hand, it's a repeated note. My point is, don't lift up in the right hand just because I have to lift up in the left. So I'm not going to go here because I got to do that. I'm not going to do that. No, connect the right hand. And going from measure 6 to 7, I'm connecting this. I'd connect this left hand all the way through, except for the rest. The slurs and all that, connect the left hand all the way through. So, going from measure 6 to 7, connect that. Yeah. I'll talk about the articulation in a little bit. Just right now we're connecting everything. Then going on here, from measure 8 to 9, you have to lift up because they're all repeated notes. Anyway, you go through and put the hands together, because I'm assuming by now you know the names of the notes in the music. You understand all these symbols. You know what they're called and you understand what they are. And so if you don't, please go back and go through this book again, go through the lessons again, review everything again. You really need to understand this stuff. In the right hand, you can put in the phrasing if you want. Lift up. Lift up. This is all one phrase now. So I'm following the words, and if the words, there has to be a comma or a period or something, otherwise I'm connecting it in the right hand. Now, the very last measure, there's not just a staccato, it's an accent too. Give it a little extra oomph, but claps the wrist. Yeah. Then dynamics, F is forte for loud. That's the melody. Whatever you think loud is. Keep the left hand down sort of medium soft. Now when you get to measure 7 or 16 and so over there, you get the hairpin to come down. You come down soft. So it's subdued. The left hand's got to go down very soft. So the left hand, while a measure 15, you're still loud. And this can come up to maybe moderately loud, moderately soft, soft, very soft. Here in the left hand. The right hand just dies away. And then at 17, you're very soft in the left hand and soft in the right hand. And you stay that way until measure 25, when suddenly you're loud again. And just finish it loud in the right hand. Except the last chord, that's both hands together. There's no melody there, it's just a chord. Just play it. Speed, fast and snappy. Okay, I can do the fast. It's too early in the morning for snappy for me, so really this is normally fountain 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's normally fountain 2. So, but it has to be accurate. So don't go faster than accurate. You know, it's controlled. Otherwise, just have fun with this. This is a party piece, huh? The show pedal at the last, I don't see any point in it. I would leave pedal off here. I didn't use pedal anywhere else. Why suddenly do I want overtones now? I mean, there are other places we could use pedal, but the piece is hard enough as it is, so let's just do it without. Now, you don't have to go that fast. You take it at your speed. This is fine. If that's your speed, that's fine. You make it yours. Don't follow me. Don't copy me, I should say. Let's play it together very slowly and double check that you have the right notes and rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics, just notes and rhythms. So I'll give us 4 counts. Let's play it together. You should play the same note I'm playing at the same time I'm playing it. I will do the staccatos though. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 1, 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 2, 4. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 4, 2. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. There's a duet for this at the bottom of the page. I'd like to play that. And you play what you just played. I'm going to speed this up somewhat. And I need you to go up an octave again. So just pretend that middle C on the piano instead of here is up here. And you play it up here. Play it all up here. I'll give us 4 counts. So this is going to go about here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. That's how fast we're going to take it. That's still pretty slow, but let's try it there. 1, 2, ready, go.